Details coming in from Washington, D.C. 3 U.S. House Republicans, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and John Katko, have declared that they will support the impeachment of U.S. President Donald Trump after a violent mob attacked the Capitol Hill last week. Wyoming's Liz Cheney, the third highest-ranking GOP leader in the House, announced that she will vote to impeach Donald Trump, saying that Trump summoned the mob and lit the flame of the attack on Capitol Hill.
Impeachment is a very solemn, grave responsibility we all have, and for this speaker to be going down this path and for the Democratic caucus to be going down this path before they have seen any evidence at all is something that I think is absolutely unprecedented.
Meanwhile, Republican lawmaker John Katko also announced his support for Trump's removal. Katko was also the first Republican to sign on to the Democrats' efforts to impeach Trump for his role on the Capitol siege. Katko in a statement said that it cannot be ignored that President Trump encouraged this insurrection, both on social media ahead of January 6th and in his speech that very day. Trump has been accused of inciting violence ahead of the Capitol Hill attack last week, and with this move, Trump would become the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. He has called the move to impeach him absolutely ridiculous. Now, if Trump is impeached, the Senate would hold a trial to decide whether to convict him or remove him from office. It is quite unlikely that proceedings would conclude before Trump's term in office expires.
Thank you very much.
We still have our correspondent Jagriti Dave live with us from Washington, D.C. Now, Jagriti, what happens now that Pence has rejected all calls for invoking the 25th Amendment? We've, of course, seen senior Republicans ask for Trump to be impeached, especially after the Capitol Hill attack. So is this a sign that Pence continues to support Donald Trump?
Well, as we were just discussing, the Democrats are going to go ahead with the impeachment proceedings. That's going to happen tomorrow. The debates are going to begin with a vote scheduled for later in the day. There seems to be bipartisan support, growing bipartisan support. 3 House Republicans already coming out, more to be expected in favor of impeachment.
Right.
That vote, if that gets passed tomorrow, we're likely to see, the historic moment, unprecedented moment of a president being impeached twice.
Right. Now, we've also heard President Trump call the impeachment preparations absolutely ridiculous and a witch hunt. So does Trump think all of this is just pointless hue and cry?
Well, President Trump has been widely criticized for failing to take responsibility for the riots in the congressional building last week. That is part of the reason, I think, why so many Republicans have moved against him as well, because they were just so shocked by the extent of the violence and what happened up on Capitol Hill. And President Trump, of course, is continuing to, talk about impeachment as a witch hunt, harking back to the his first impeachment over the phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart, calling it a political witch hunt. I think the fact that there is bipartisan support for this impeachment is making that argument much harder to make.
Right.
We are going to see what happens, I think, in the Senate when it comes to a trial.
My final question, Jagriti. Meanwhile, at least 10,000 National Guard troops from several states will be in place for U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration in Washington. So is there a fear now that Trump's loyalists may create more violence?
Yes, that is something that the FBI is warning, and Washington, D.C. is a city on high alert with more troops, National Guard troops, at least 10,000 National Guard troops on the streets around the Capitol. There's heightened security there with fencing, concrete barricades, and an emergency declaration that has been approved by the White House in Washington, D.C. as well. So we're likely to see a lot of that heightened security continue right through to the inauguration.
Right. All right, Jagriti, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast.